If you wanna, when you say we got a guest,
for the people.
Spider Loke ain't no guest today, is he?
Yeah.
Hell no.
What's the word? It's a word when you got a resident, a person that's like sit in all the time.
You heard him?
What they call that? Like a
Said he wasn't
resident?
called
Regular?
Ace.
Ace?
He don't like that, man.
Reoccurring guest.
Why I can't
Call
come
him
say
a
my
reoccurring guest
nephew,
on Alex.
and AKA Ace? Okay, God damn. I got a
Reoccurring
little.
I think a light bulb went over your head when you heard Ace.
Yeah. I don't remember robot.
I'm back live.
Ready.
Well, we trying to live right.
All right.
We gonna live
Yeah,
right.
We live.
positivity.
We
Live
live
now.
right.
Yeah, you got everyone ready?
Yeah.
All right.
And you've been doing some belly shots too.
Lord,
Man, you better raise that shit.
Can you get those angles over there?
Raise that goddamn
And
camera.
also, if you see a bottle of water in the way, let me know because I watched a couple of the clips. I don't like obstructions.
So I'm gonna try.
especially if we ain't promoting.
I'm gonna try to kind of like
Maybe-
angle you some,
Oh, you know what? Tell her to move that chair over.
but I can't get him right here. I can't get Spike. I got the back.
Well, he'll get
away.
in
He can always
Yeah,
get
No,
right.
but if I'm right here,
Like for example, he don't need to get me if you getting me.
Yeah.
So he could just focus
you
on
gotta
Spider.
I still gotta get Reg.
Okay, look.
Yeah, that's the main one because I got this mic.
You got-
so your angle maybe be on him.
You gonna get Reg, me and James. He's
Okay.
gonna get James,
Do
Spider.
they need to switch?
What about you? You could get Reg or
Yeah, I'm out.
Let me see.
A little bit.
because then you could then he don't have to get me and make his job easier, right? Can you get me good
Yeah, I
from
got
that
you.
angle? This mic not in the way.
Nah, it's the mic in the way. So if I get you, if I'm
Y'all
right
gotta
here,
talk about that when you
If I'm from
not doing
if
that.
I'm from right here, boom,
yeah.
I can come in and swing, boom.
I'm sorry, man.
Let's move.
No, you good. Just let me know where I need to be.
Let's
Okay,
move.
Alex, no.
Yeah, just Reggie. I got a good
All right,
shot of him.
we still
But
got-
everybody else I got.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
get you.
All right.
I'm gonna try not to be in your.
All right, I'm about to start this.
Okay, get Alex.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're listening from. This is another episode of the Gangster Chronicles, episode 27, and you're listening to Alex Alonso from Street TV, aka StreetGangs.com, and I'm here with my two co-hosts,
Reggie, you right?
And James McDonald.
and we're here with our recurring guest as well.
Spider Loco.
Yes, this is episode 27, and if you're new to the podcast, please go back and binge listen to the podcast because most of our episodes are interrelated. You won't hear me until episode 3. And if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review so that we can continue bringing you this amazing content. You can rate us from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, of course. And in addition to rating the show, you can share this link or you can share this show episode to a friend and spread the word. And for those who do not have iTunes or Apple Podcasts, we're also available on Google Play for all you people with Samsungs and Androids, and Spotify and radio.com as well. And we also have video portions of this podcast available on the Digital Soapbox Network, which you can check out on YouTube. That is the Digital Soapbox Network. And of course, we got to remind you that we will be doing our live show, our first live show in the Los Angeles area where all you guys and gals can come check us out in person. It'll be on Wednesday, October 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. That's right. You guys will get 2 hours of entertainment as opposed to an hour and 15 minutes. And we'll be throwing in the Q&A right after the show. And our live show will be at the French Quarter Creole Bar and Grill. The French Quarter Creole Bar and Grill at 16728 Bellflower Boulevard in Bellflower. That's just a little east of downtown LA. And it's on the corner of Bellflower Boulevard and Flower Street. Get there early because LA traffic will be crazy that day. We'll be starting at 7, so get on the road a little early. And tickets available at thegangsterchroniclespodcast.com. So visit that website, thegangsterchroniclespodcast.com, to get your tickets for our very first live event. And you can find James McDonald on Facebook. He has a red Harley in his profile because there are a lot of James McDonalds on Facebook. But as soon as you see that red Harley, you found James McDonald. He's also on Instagram at BIGGJ3636. He has those amazing t-shirts still available. Hit him up, 909-800-6464, and you'll have your shirt.
6404.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I need to get glasses because I do have 6404. That's 909-800-6404. You can find Reggie Wright on Bomb First. He does that show every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. West Coast time, but he also been giving you guys some treats these last couple weeks in addition to his Tuesday night show. You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram at reggie.wright.junior. You can find me at just go to visit streetgangs.com, click contact, and all my links are there. But I'm at Alex Alonso 101 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And Spider Loke has his Black Box show on YouTube. How do they find you there?
Spider Loke Most Easty is the name of the channel.
Okay. And before we start the show, James has a couple of things on his mind. So go ahead, I'm gonna turn it over to James McDonald.
Hey, everybody out there. First off, I want to speak on my uncle. My uncle's in the hospital. He has cancer, and I'm just asking everybody to pray for him. He's doing all right now. He's still in the hospital, but I'm asking for everybody to pray. Second of all, I have my nephew here. I have Buntry's son, and we had the pleasure of meeting him coming into our life last year, and it's been a blessing. So, he's out, he's doing music. I'm gonna let him explain himself to y'all right now. So I'm gonna
That's
put
hard.
on, he called himself Ace. We're gonna let y'all talk to Ace. Hold
That's hard.
on. Come on, man. Just tell us a little bit about
I
yourself.
think I fixed the chat. Try it now,
Yeah.
Corey.
Basically, born and raised in LA. I went to school, played football, Colorado State and all that.
That's right.
Graduated, came back home with my people. Just met my dad's side of the family last year. It was a blessing. I got into music. I'm trying to pursue that right now. Feed my family.
As he should.
Something simple.
Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of things about your father. You didn't get a chance to know him, but what are some of the things you've learned since you've hooked up with your uncle?
You got his jawbone
Basically, he wasn't, nobody to play with.
at all.
And, a lot of people looked up to him. I didn't get the chance, but, it would have been nice for me, too.
Now, you was born in like 95 or something?
Yes, sir.
So you was only 7 years old when your father met an early fate.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't even been able to get to know him, even if he was around. Yeah.
I'm the youngest that he had. Yeah.
So how's it been hanging out with James McDonald?
Oh, it's eye-opening, just to see the other side of the family. Knowing my dad's side of the family just as crazy as my mom's. Maybe we all, get along. And, family first, it's all love.
So what part of Los Angeles did you grow up in?
Watts, Nickerson Garden Project.
Oh, wow.
And he went
East
to college.
side.
How many years?
I went to college for all 4 years.
That's
graduated,
right.
Got my degree.
That's
my
right.
master, my minors, all that.
That's right.
That's pretty impressive because ain't too many people coming out those projects going to university, huh?
Point blank.
And without his dad, you know what I'm saying? And so, you give
Break the
moms a
cycle.
lot of credit,
Yeah.
and that's why I say, that anything is possible. But my purpose is, having and getting my nephews on the right track. I could talk this Gangster Chronicles shit all day and say I want to help people and kids and not to follow my footsteps. And this is why my nephews are here. I got my nephew on my left, Juwan. He's out here doing the videos. He's recording with us. So just to get him out the street and just keep him on the straight path to do, some great shit. And this is why my nephew here, he's doing music. I thought he was gonna bring something to let y'all hear so I can get a yeah or nay, but these youngsters ain't never prepared. So we might get him, I might play some of his shit next week. So.
Well, he could always tell us where to find his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all want to listen to my music, man, y'all can go on any streaming service, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. It's on everything you could think of. I got an album out called Blessings, and I got an album out called Pick a Side. And I got, some solo features out, but, look up Ace. I got a boy named Moso, that's my homie. Me and him just put out, album together. That's Pick a Side. So if you want to find that one, it's Ace and Moso, Pick a Side. It's on every platform.
Now, you graduated from college, went to university, studied, took a bunch of classes to get your degree.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you go into something else that your degree could have planned you to do? Why are you coming to music instead of doing something that was probably connected to your education?
Well, honestly, having a degree don't mean you gonna make it in this world. That degree don't really do nothing nowadays, you know. And I was a communication major, so if you want to be technical with it, I'm basically using my communication major in the right way, you know.
And he's
That's
still
right.
young, Alex.
They can't take
He
the
got
degree from
time.
you.
I'm trying to chase this dream while I can. You feel me?
Okay, well, I partially disagree with you. Getting that 4-year degree is like a first step towards many
most
other
definitely,
things.
most
For me, it saved my life. I
Yeah.
graduated from USC the year you were born, and if it wasn't for that, ain't no telling, you know, where I would be. And it was
See.
definitely an accomplishment for me and my family.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm grateful for the trip, grateful for the experience. You feel me? And those 4 years probably saved my life. You feel me? I probably don't know where I would have been if I didn't go to college. You know.
Salute that.
My head. And I came back, you know, thinking different. You know, I seen other ways of life.
How
you
many
feel
other
me,
people your
lifestyles and
age
all
from the
that.
projects can you know that has done that?
Not too many.
Yeah, I salute that, East Sider. Oh, my mama.
Definitely. Now, you know, Spider's one of the most known, accomplished LA rappers, you know, around, and you got him sitting right here. You got any questions for him? Or vice versa, can you give the young man some advice since he wants to kind of follow in your footsteps, Spider?
Well, I know, just coming from the area he from and the experiences he been through, that he got what it takes as far as to stick with it. Because ain't no guarantee in this game. You know, you can do all the right things, like your cousin was talking about. He was overqualified to step into a certain position in his life, and he still didn't get it. So sometimes you got to detach your feelings from this shit and just smash. You know what I'm saying? You doing the right thing though. You eloquent. You ain't scared of the questions. You ain't scared of the moment. You just make good music.
That's all that's to it, man.
So musically, who's inspired you,
Hey,
and
on your nuts.
what kind of gets you going musically?
He done said this shit like
Honestly,
10 times.
I do, you know, of course, I
Christian
love
classics.
Nip and all that, man. But I listen to
Okay.
everybody. You know, my cousin Doodle,
keep
he
saying
put me
Tell
on
Reggie or
6ix9ine. I didn't even like him at first. All he did was
Christian
scream.
classics.
But, you know,
What up, though?
Meek Mill, all walks of life, man. R&B, you know, I mess with Jacquees. I mess with all. That's why when I make music, you know, you can find me in every type of genre. I made R&B songs. I got some ratchet stuff out. And I got some, you know, some eye-openers, too.
So what's your view on 6ix9ine's music? Forget about what he's done now, but just musically, what would you say about 6ix9ine?
Even when he was, before that, all that, he was the same person I look at him as now. You know, he was clout chasing. You know? It was just music. He was just hype. All he did was front and chase clout. That's all he did his whole, you feel me, time being up there.
Now, James, what do you think that you have a nephew that actually graduated from college, but he wants to pursue this rap? What's your view of that?
Well, actually, I have Juwan here. He graduated from college.
Salute.
I have a few nephews that went to college. My nephew, little Timmy, is in search for his degree. What, he got another year?
I think he got one more year.
About another year, and he
Shout
has a
out Timmy
degree.
Rule.
So they doing good, but you know, I got more than 3 nephews. His brother, Lil Alton, been raising his daughters, been working since he was 18.
For the post office.
You know what I'm saying?
Good
At the
job.
post office.
Yeah.
You know, I just got a few of them that need to be and just set and, you know, to be focused. You know, I want them to be focused instead out there on the gangbanging tip. The gangbanging today is not like it was when I was gangbanging.
At all.
It's totally different. And, you know, these guys don't understand that. So, but I'm aware of it. So I don't want them to think they follow in our footsteps, they dad footsteps, they uncles, or what have you. So if I can talk to them and get them on some different shit, put a camera in your hand, put a mic in your hand, and do your thing, I'm good. Made my day. This right here made my day. My nephew actually see that I'm supporting him. My nephew see that I'm supporting him. And that's the only thing that matters to me.
Your whole persona, your whole countenance is lighter today. You could
Yeah.
tell that you in a space of like,
Yeah.
family space.
like he just scored a
Because
touchdown.
I
salute
know
that.
I'm helping them. I
Yeah.
know I'm helping them.
You can tell it means something.
I mean, man, I feel good. Even though we going through some shit in our family with my uncle having cancer. I just lost my mom's over cancer. Now I got my uncle.
Fuck cancer.
But this right here makes it all like, man, I don't have to. I don't have my head down. I'm not
Right.
sad. You know, I got to be strong for my uncle and my auntie. They've been married 51 years. You know what I'm saying? My auntie is taking it is like hurting right now. So supporting my auntie in that time and then supporting my nephews in this time, I learned to put them together and I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I can honestly go to sleep and say my nephew ain't out there with a gun in his hand. I know where Juwan at right now. I know where Tyree at right now. They right here with me, getting busy doing something totally different than some street shit. So, man, I'm proud of these dudes.
Now, Tyree,
Salute
growing
to
up
that.
over there in the Nickersons, were you ever influenced or compelled to want to be a part of the gang over there, or how'd you navigate that growing up over there?
Hey man, you can't look. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, man. If you grow up in that, you're gonna be a product in your environment either way. You're gonna find some type of way out. You feel me? But it's gonna always be a piece of that in you. You can't just, you feel me, avoid it. Ain't no way around it. I mean, for some people, I don't know. I can't speak on everybody else. I know me. I was a little hothead, man. I was Eastside Bunyan. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. But I'm trying to, you feel me? I'm trying to.
But
better
you also
myself,
played football,
too.
right?
Yeah, I played football.
And that
too.
helped. That
Yeah.
kept you, because you had to keep that grade point average up and all of that to stay on the football field.
Now, there's
When they get into school.
a handful of young rappers out of the projects over there, starting all the way from J-Rock, who's probably the cream of the crop over
Well,
there.
TDE is over there. He's from over there. So
Devi 2G, he's from over there.
Yeah.
So what's the music scene like? Who's the next to bubble from out of there?
That depends on, you feel me, life. I ain't about to. You feel so if I gotta say so, it'll be me. You feel me?
You should.
I ain't the
should.
most cocky and none of that, but I know I'm nice. You feel me? And I just started, but all the homies is dope. You feel me? So yeah, we chop it up with each other, but at the same time, you know, it's competition. You feel me? Everybody doing their own thing, trying to make it out at the same time. We all come from the same place, same grind. You feel me?
I didn't mean to cut you off, Reg. What was you saying?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But we can lead into that, and I want to get his opinion and James and all your opinion on this, since we're talking about this gang stuff and the guys that's fakers and wanksters and all of that.
All right, Tyree. Thanks
That ain't what we was talking about, Wanksters,
We
though.
appreciate you. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we was.
transition.
We was
to
talking
this
about a real
audio.
solid young man that balanced
Alright,
both
Reggie
and
brought
came out
in-
on top.
And none of us have heard this audio yet. So
It was my first time. I don't know if I answered any questions right.
this audio.
Oh, you did a good job. Did a good job. Getting caught off guard.
Man,
Didn't have much time to think, but you came with something that made sense. You did well. You was dealing with a professional. This dude done asked questions to
man.
you. Had no idea. Yeah, that's what he do.
You stopped it, right?
But that's what he. That's
Okay.
what he.
All right, man.
I
Nice meeting you,
appreciate.
man.
That's
Good
what
luck.
he needs. That's
Good
what
luck.
he gonna be
Yeah.
face
For real,
against.
that's what I'm
They
going
gonna ask you questions like that. All right.
I'm
100 nephew. All
All
right.
right, nice meeting you,
I
man.
think he's gonna have to
Yeah,
walk
he
you
gonna.
out
Yeah, he
No.
gonna take-
unless somebody else is,
Yeah, they're going to
Why
be a
you
minute.
can't walk because you filming.
because the doors are locked.
Okay. What about
Well, he
But
finna
we'll
do
start back up.
the card situation?
Oh, let me go get that.
You got the ticket.
Hey, just give yours up right quick, and we'll give you our other one. We'll figure
Okay,
it out.
regulate then, Reg.
All right. We got you.
He can't walk out. You gotta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still gotta let him out. Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
Just
right
wait.
there.
Wait a
then.
couple minutes right there.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Juwan, video guy.
All right,
You
so,
can cut it right
come
where I
back in
said,
then.
let's listen to the audio clip.
okay.
With, all right.
I haven't went on live in a couple of months. Doing this.
Neither one of y'all supposed to be going on live. We got our own live shit.
I asked for permission, bro.
I usually go on live just for like a couple minutes though, 2 or 3 minutes. It's hard to be on live and do your thing.
Yeah. Y'all got your lane. Let me do my little thing.
You bleeding it in?
Yeah, I'm just
You make sure you put some like reverb on my voice.
I'm
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking with you.
I was like, yo.
I'm just fucking with you.
I was like, yo, we way too deep into the joke.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you.
We gotta start over. All right, y'all ready for the audio?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mics will be off, correct? The mics will be.
Oh yeah.
I see you with them things
Y'all need to
change,
listen so I can
lyrics.
comment on this.
Yeah, let's
Believe that.
Is it on?
This is the first audio.
I'm talking about all these bitch ass niggas from New York, right? that leave New York and go to
back to
another
last
town
night.
and think they the fucking boss. And you niggas can't even come home.
But listen to this.
You niggas can't even do nothing in your city. Your people's just getting smoked and killed and shit. You niggas ain't even responding. Y'all niggas going back home acting like y'all tough. Y'all niggas come to New York with that shit. If anybody, and y'all niggas know who I'm talking about. If any of you niggas think that y'all that tough and y'all can fuck with niggas in my crew, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about anybody, nigga.
Who is that?
Anybody I'm associated with. Y'all niggas think y'all can fucking...
Since he been
y'all
down?
do something with. Y'all trying niggas when they out of town, nigga. Come back to New York with that shit. I guarantee, nigga. Y'all gonna see who run this fucking town, nigga. You niggas don't run shit. You niggas stay out of town with that fuck shit. Stay down south with that fuck shit, nigga. You niggas couldn't survive in New York. That's why y'all where y'all at, nigga. Come holler at my niggas, man. From Bronx to Brooklyn, we got this shit. And we ain't letting nobody down. You from New York, I got you, nigga. Fuck is wrong with you niggas? Niggas left the fucking city now. You niggas is crazy. Y'all niggas can't stay here. Y'all niggas can't survive in these streets no more. And if y'all think y'all got somebody on my ass or my man's ass, y'all niggas got something coming, blood. Y'all niggas is stupid, nigga. Everybody, don't make me call you bitch ass niggas names out, nigga. You niggas ain't even like that, nigga. You niggas down in the South robbing niggas. Come home, nigga. We got something for you. We throw niggas parties in Brooklyn, nigga. What's up with you niggas? What's up with you niggas? Come home, nigga.
Damn.
Come home, stop fucking with the little homies, man. Come fuck with the big dogs. I'm out here, nigga. You fucking clown ass niggas. I dare you niggas come home, nigga. That's what I want you niggas. Come home. Come fuck home. Come back home. Come to New York, pussy.
I lost it on this nigga.
Faggot ass niggas, man. You niggas ain't got no life, niggas.
Look how long the piece is. A lot more.
Niggas better stay on y'all fucking Ciroc tip, nigga. Y'all niggas is bugged the fuck out. Don't play with nobody in my family, nigga. Niggas is clowns out here. Come to New York, nigga. We do this for real, nigga. Niggas is crazy out here, boy. Fuck kind of life these niggas is living. You niggas living in the fuck y'all niggas living in social media life, nigga. You living in social media, nigga. You fucking clown ass niggas. What's wrong with you niggas, man? Niggas let that shit go to your head. You skinny big. Niggas are skinnier than me, and I'm a skinny big head nigga. What the fuck is the vibes, nigga? The fuck is the vibes, man? Shout out to my Bronx niggas, TV and them. You know, shout out to the hats, nigga. Shout out to the Mac Baller niggas that roll with us like we the fucking mob, nigga. We the fucking mob. Nigga, I'm picking on niggas now. Anybody fuck with my niggas, we picking on niggas, cause I got the bag, nigga. I drop bags, nigga. Come home with that talk, nigga. Come to New York with that talk, nigga.
He was on live.
Niggas can't handle this New York life, man. They can't live like us, man. Crip, some of these niggas, cuz. Some of these niggas, cuz. Fuck is wrong with you niggas, nigga? Y'all niggas don't want nothing. No smoke, nigga. Niggas out there fucking vegans out there, nigga. We want no kind of beef, nigga. Stupid. Fuck wrong with you niggas, man. I woke up like this, man. Fuck wrong with you niggas? You niggas waited till I got the bag? Niggas waited till I got the bag? Fucking dumb niggas. We been gangster. So now we got the bag. Imagine what's gonna happen to you niggas. The fuck is wrong with you niggas?
Show?
Nigga, you know that you know what the fuck is up, nigga. Niggas know the vibe, man. Fucking death row shit. I'ma show you niggas the road.
Death row
I promise you that shit, nigga.
They were
I'ma show you
trying.
niggas the road.
We're gonna talk
Fuck
about
with
it.
anybody in my family, nigga. I promise you niggas. And y'all don't know who our family is. That's where y'all fucking up. That's stupid. Fucking dummy. Talk to them, Glo. What's up? He don't even want to talk. He just let me do my thing now. Look, fucking faggots. Stupid. Your mama's stupid. Go kill somebody that you got beef with. Stupid. That niggas ain't killing shit, nigga. Niggas ain't doing nothing. I love my man Bitch not for telling niggas. Niggas smoked on your cousin, cuz. Niggas smoked your cousin. Niggas smoke heroin at the light, cuz. And you act like a little bitch.
Off the screen,
niggas smoke your fucking family out here. You trying to fuck with them. Yo, don't fuck with the little homies. Don't fuck with my little homies, man. We the mob, nigga. We the mob, nigga. Don't have us on you, nigga. Don't have us on you, nigga. You niggas stay home, nigga. Do not have me on you, boy. Do not have me on you, boy. What's up with you niggas? Come to New York, acting like y'all tough. Ain't nobody in the industry fucking with this mob right here. Nobody. Come to New York with that.
The feds was fucking.
Come to New York with that. What happened? Cuz said something. When he say something, it's important. What you
Start
say?
pissing me the fuck off.
This can't come back here, man.
I'm like,
This can't
wait a
come back
minute,
here.
hold the fuck up. And I'm listening to
Unit.
him.
I'm not snitching on nothing. I got the unit.
How much left?
Shout out to G
About a
unit.
minute.
I'm riding around. Come
That's why I thought it was Spider gonna love that part.
Come to New York. Come on.
This is a
Come on,
clip.
since you niggas.
This
You know
really
you go
ain't
down
him.
south and niggas ain't been in
Just
New York in 10
somebody
years,
put
like
it
yo,
on
I'm
there.
from New York. When, nigga, when? Who you know?
Sitting
Fuck
there
you know,
listening
nigga.
to
Who the little
this
homies you
dude.
put on? Pussy.
Then this nigga got
Stupid.
me saying pussy.
Come across these bridges, nigga. I'll show you something, man.
About to start
I'm
recording
fucking
this
loud, man. I love my
Fuck you
bitch. I
talking
love
to?
my fucking
How
much
bitch.
is left?
Fucking Treyway. Ain't nobody tougher than us, man. Ain't nobody
Randy
doing
and
shit like
everybody
we doing,
start coming out
nigga.
the
I promise
house.
you. You niggas better stay the fuck in the South, nigga. I catch you niggas in New York. I promise you. I don't give a fuck I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Catch
This
you
is a
niggas in New
recording.
York, nigga.
This is
Y'all better stick
a
with them hip hop
recording that
police
Reggie brought
and them
in.
niggas y'all run around with when
We're
y'all
gonna
come to the
talk
city. Don't
about
act
it in
like
a
we don't know,
couple
nigga. Nigga, security just got slapped, right? Fucking niggas
You don't know
pussy,
who it
niggas.
is?
The fuck out here. Don't play with my family, man. I'm
Oh,
on
that
you
ain't no
niggas.
bad.
Last time we get a call that y'all playing with my family, I'm on you. I'm on you.
So how did G Unit miss the
I'm on you,
indictment?
nigga. Shout out to my fucking gang. Shout out to the gang, man.
Damn.
All right.
That's deep.
So, well, I'll lead y'all into it and y'all go into it.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to go into it.
I know.
Chris.
Well, I was talking to James and Spider.
Oh, okay.
I never heard that. Like I'm getting acquainted.
Who was that again?
Shotty.
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 From jail?
No.
Oh,
It was
okay.
prior to
No,
going.
Yeah, it's
All
right.
right.
Before we got.
But
Y'all ready?
he was
Go
cuz
ahead.
blooding
Go
though.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right,
Reg.
so
Can you explain what we just listened to, please?
yeah, that's this audio. It's on the internet, but it's from Shotty, right before he got arrested. And my point to bringing this to, since I got two OGs in here and a gang expert, is my problem. Well, it's not my problem because I know East Coast niggas got gangbangers and they tough and they got. I'm not here to try to pull people G card, but I'm just trying to show, and my point in listening to that is how this brother is. They so confused out here with this gang stuff. How he claiming to be the mob, which is blood affiliated, but then he hollering cuss all through in the video, and I just wanted to see how the guys on the East Coast get away with that stuff from two guys from the West Coast that used to be in gangs that were West Coast affiliated. And just what's your opinion about hearing that? Because that shows me how these guys got indicted and caught up with trying to perpetrate being something that they really weren't. And just want to see your opinion on that.
I know he sound confused trying to mix up Death Row and G Unit all together. Like you the Row and you G Unit mixed up. That sounded confused. And I understand the dude he's talking to was a Crip, and that was probably just his playful ways, just try to show that he said tripping by, saying those terms. That don't bother me one way or another. That ain't from my hood. It's comical, it's entertaining.
James, that should have bothered you a little more since he was hollering a hood that you.
Well, he pissed me the fuck off last night.
Well, that was.
I mean, just
yeah.
listening to it, I didn't know it was a clip that somebody just chimed in and put it up there. But if anybody listened to Bomb First last night, you can see how mad he made me. All of this talk, and the dude never said what name he was, who he was mad at, or whatever. Don't make me drop this. So I just had enough. Reggie didn't say nothing. We just sitting here listening, and then we like, who you talking about? We didn't know this was a clip.
Yeah.
And he pissed me. I ain't never been that mad in a long time. But that cat pissed me off. As far as his gang banging status and all that, I'm not gonna even touch that because the guy's in jail and somebody played this clip of him. So I'm gonna say it ain't his fault that, motherfuckers out there playing games like that. But as far as his status on where he from and what he doing and hollering at his people, I can't be mad at him because I used to fuck with niggas like that. I go to a goddamn party and what's happening, cuz? And all
Right,
the homies
yeah.
be mad at motherfuckers. But I mean, that's just him fucking with his homeboy or whoever that guy
Or
was.
disrespecting the dude that.
No, it wasn't-
No, that nigga name is Crippy. I know who he was talking to, who he was talking to, yeah.
So that didn't bother me. Just
So he was a crook?
The nigga he was talking to was a Crip, so he was trying to just show love to him.
Show love?
Yeah, he was a nigga was there with him. He was trying to tell him to talk too.
Oh, so that
Like,
was the dude.
yeah.
Well, who was he disrespecting, do you know?
I have not the slightest idea.
whoever he beefing with, that ain't our business. I
It was
don't
from New
care
York.
about
He said he was mad at some New York niggas for not being in New York.
Yeah, that moved to the south.
Yeah. So you got.
So I just found that entertaining. To me, it's confusing because you're trying to be one way and then you talking and acting another way.
He had me
But-
pissed the fuck off.
But just showing how he got things twisted out there, and that was the only reason for that clip.
That nigga he talking to, I think he took some time too, didn't he, Alex? Crippy?
Who?
Crippy? His name was involved in the indictment. He took some time, got caught up in that little.
Yeah, that would be Fahim Walter.
Yeah.
He was the sixth guy named in the indictment.
I think
Against the
that's
non-Trey
Monster. I think
Bloods.
that's Monster, little brother.
All right.
Okay, cool.
I didn't get to do the fact check, so I'm gonna run through that really quickly for you guys from last week. Okay, well, so last week, Spider, you mentioned that T.I. actually testified against the shooter. I went looking for the video.
Oh,
Like
man.
you said, the
salute,
video,
salute to his team.
the whole
Excellent
video
team.
does not exist anywhere on the internet. But apparently, he testified against a guy named Hosea Thomas.
Wait a minute, why is we talking about T.I.?
This is just a fact check from last week.
Okay.
I just want to say that I got inundated with text messages, inboxing saying that T.I. did not actually testify against the shooter named Hosea Thomas.
But he did.
But according to you, you said you saw the video, you remember the video, but the video doesn't exist anywhere. World Star Hip Hop actually has this video that says 28 minutes, but when you try to play it, it doesn't play.
Shout out to T.I. team.
Somebody told me the Kodak Black uploaded it and supposed to have the
It
whole
wasn't
video
the whole
there.
thing. No, it wasn't.
No, it's not the whole thing. You can find one like little minute excerpts of it, but the video clips that do exist don't show T.I. actually testifying against the shooter. But the shooter ended up getting 43 years in prison. His name is he's currently in Pickaway Correctional Institution in Ohio,
Ooh,
and he was convicted of murder and a bunch of other offenses, and he won't be getting out of prison for a long time. Also, last week I shouted out Lil Doc from 6ix9ine East Coast. We talked about the truce between the Florences and the East Coasters, and I also got to shout out the woman that actually got the whole conversation going. Her name is Petra. She doesn't think that she's a big part of it, but without Petra, these conversations would have never happened. So we got to shout out Petra, because Petra is the one that contacted the guy from Florence for a whole nother reason, for a whole different reason. And then the guy from Florence asked Petra, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with some East Coasters. Can you get me in touch with anyone? I've been trying for the last 3 years, and I've been unsuccessful with every East Coast that I've communicated with. So Petra said, yeah, I'll connect you with a guy named Lil Doc. And that conversation, which started in July of this year, caused the truce between the East Coast Crips and the Florence 13. And the guy from Florence 13, I can say his name because he told me it was cool. I've actually directly communicated with him. His name is Babo. His real name is Braulio Castellanos. He's been in prison since the 1980s for murder, and he is a Mexican mafia member. And he was part of the hunger strike in 2013. Prior to the hunger strike, he was in the SHU without any contact with the outside world. And after the hunger strike, they let these guys out of the SHU. And because they let him out, he was able to communicate. So without him being out of the SHU, Babo would not have been able to communicate with Petra, and then he wouldn't have been able to connect with Lil Doc, and these conversations would have never happened.
Shout out Babo, shout out Lil Doc, shout out Lil Slim.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
And then
y'all.
last week we mentioned there's also a truce between the Norteños and the Sureños. That started in 2017. And I just wanted to say that conflict started in 1968 in San Quentin prison over a pair of boots. It's called the Shoe War.
That's what they say.
And that's what cracked off the Norteños and the Sureño conflict. And that apparently is over right now. They're not.
And they had a truce in prison.
Not only did they have a truce, but the same guy, Babo, was a part of that truce.
Okay.
So Babo's in prison. So Babo's on some different thinking right now.
Well,
He's 61 years old.
Being in prison for that length of time, man, it changed your mind.
That's what it's designed to
A
do.
lot of shit.
Yeah.
And it done humbled him. And he said a lot of this shit wasn't worth it. So, man, my head go off to that man for doing what he's doing, because he's changing a lot of shit.
Go ahead, Spider.
I recently spoke to the homie Lil Slim from 5'9" on the 4 yard. He told me that it's been like a 3-4 year thing where they had a racial cease tension. Like, he told me to tell the youngsters, you on your way up here, you on your way to a retirement home. So that's what you better get yourself ready for. You is not finna be the only wild nigga up here.
That's the message from youngsters, Spider.
You're gonna program, bro. So, whoever
That's what they need to hear, though.
you're gonna program. So you might as well start now, bro.
Yeah, because if you want to be a part of this conflict, everybody in prison is on board. In fact,
Right.
Bobo told me he sent messages to every prison yard that he can send messages to say it's over.
And with these phones, that mean every yard. It used to take months and weeks to get them kites around. Now that's immediately.
No,
every yard know.
It's immediate.
Right now.
It's immediate. So yeah, I wanted to just make sure I shouted out Petra. Petra, everyone knows that without what you did, this wouldn't have been possible.
Shout out Petra.
Okay, and then lastly, we talked about the felony murder rule last week that allowed Cameron Terrell, the white dude from from 90s,
Yeah.
able to beat that murder case. And that's Senate Bill 1437. I think you mentioned that last week, Reggie. And what's really interesting about Senate Bill 1437, it basically says that you have to be directly responsible for the murder in order to be charged. Prior to that, the old rule said if you're part of a murder, even though you did not intend to kill the person, you're still responsible. Or if someone else dies, an innocent bystander dies, or if the police kill somebody in the course of a crime, you're getting charged.
Right.
Yeah. But the felony murder rule, which is Senate Bill 1437, allows a lot of people to say, hey, I didn't intend for this person to die. That wasn't my motive. That has nothing to do with me. And that's why people like Cameron Terrell, Samaj Welch, and a bunch of other people are able to beat their cases. And it is retroactive. Remember you mentioned that last week? So people could appeal their sentences from 10, 20 years ago.
Free the real. Free the lokes.
Under Senate Bill
Free everybody that got railroaded.
1437. So if you know anybody that's doing prison time because they fell asleep in the back seat or they did not intend for the person to kill, let them know that as of September 30th, 2018, that's when the law changed under Governor Brown, he can possibly get out.
Somebody just asked a question. You getting paid too. You might want to mention that. He over there super chat popping. But somebody said, where do the Fresno Bulldogs fall in the truth?
Oh, great question. Actually, because of the truth between the Norteños and the Sureños, it's making the Fresno Bulldogs stronger for some reason. That's the reports I'm getting from dudes on these yards, because they're not part of that. They're not Northerners. They're not Southerners. They're independent.
I thought they was from Nathaniels. I thought they was rocking with the Northerners.
I think
they were more
I
friendly.
think in the 20 years ago they were, but they decided they wanted to go independent in the 90s.
No, not no 20 years ago. I'm saying recently.
No, they've been independent for at least
Do
a
they
decade.
have the 14 number behind them or the 13?
I don't know how they chose. I don't think they rocked with neither.
Yeah, they're just Fresno Bulldogs.
They're just the Bulldogs.
And they're right in the middle of the state of
I don't know why
California
my
that
super
divides
chat ain't on.
Northerners and Southerners. So
Well, in the penitentiary, they rock with them
Oh, you say
no,
we broke off?
they don't rock with anyone now.
by themselves.
They by
solo.
themselves. Yeah,
Oh, my super
they're pretty
chat.
deep. So they're not
So
part
they're
of.
not a part of the truth.
Nah. So the Fresno Bulldogs, hopefully they can get on board. Hopefully they can get involved in some of these talks and conversations. But right now they have nothing to do with this truce between the Norteños and the Sureños. So, and the last thing, the Florences and the East Coasters had a meeting just on Sunday, just a few days ago. That was the second meeting, and it went amazing.
Face to face.
Face to face. They had a physical face-to-face meeting at the same place on 76th and Central.
I mean, who can't agree that that's some good shit,
It's
right?
amazing, man.
You definitely some weirdos that probably had that opinion. Definitely.
And let me tell you what I did yesterday.
It's great shit.
I went
Yeah.
through both Florence Hood and various East Coast hoods taking pictures of graffiti, and guess how many disses I saw in the 20 photos that I took yesterday?
One.
Two.
Zero.
Okay.
Zero. I found a truck that was obviously old, so the truck don't count.
That's
There was a
all.
flower on the truck. But I saw some fresh 6'6" East Coast. I saw some fresh 6 Deuce East Coast. No flowers drawn.
Salute to both sides.
And I saw a bunch of F-13 fresh hit-ups. No crossing out of East Coast Crip.
That's quite
So that
commendable.
is real.
And this should take it to another level. How do you get to the next level with this? I mean, it's cool. You got ceasefire. If everybody getting along, you ain't got nobody dying this week, next week, tomorrow, tonight. I mean, you got to keep it going, though. You got to keep it going. You know, you got guys out there that don't want to participate in this. Get drunk. Let's go out and woo. You
Right.
might have some other motherfuckers that feel, oh no, we don't like this. These guys together, we got the Mexicans and the blacks fucking with each other or at a ceasefire. A lot of people ain't gonna like that. So how do you,
Well, they got the momentum right now. The momentum is
That's
with the
good.
truce.
That's a good.
And I
thing.
think continued physical face-to-face meetings is critical to keep it going. You know,
And if it stops shooting for 3 to 4 weeks to a month or whatever, then it's worth it.
I think it's gonna
I
last.
mean, I was around
I
with
think
the
it's
troops,
Yeah.
with the red and the blue,
The
and
92
after
troops.
the 92 troops,
Yeah.
and I seen how quick that turned.
Yeah, but now
Well,
here we
so-
are 2 decades later, maybe we'll have a more solidified effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're smarter.
Exactly.
Smarter.
But you gotta
And less
understand,
engaged.
Yeah.
drinking, getting high, and partying. A lot of
That was
cats
the
came
problem
out
with the
just to
troops.
hang out and because all the bras was hanging out.
Yeah.
Right.
But you cannot drink and party with the opposite side and think it's all
Right.
good. Sooner or later, it's gonna go boom.
Yep.
I
It's
think
gonna
that
blow up.
that point is very important, James, because I interviewed. If you watch my video on Street TV of a lot of the brothers that's involved in this truce, Smurf from Bounty Hunter said the mistake that they made was that they turned it over to the younger homies, and everyone was concerned about women drinking, smoking, and getting high. It's exactly what you just said.
Well, the younger homies ain't the one to control the streets.
Right.
These are the ones you gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck you win if you letting the little homies do what they do? Man, as soon as they get loaded, they turned up.
But you know,
have to have the
gangs have lost the
OGs.
structure.
Yeah, because the older guys ain't there
They ain't
and
there,
stepping up.
yeah.
All of these challenges they doing and this water challenge, man. Each black man challenge. Let's challenge each black man to take his camera or his phone or whatever and sit down and talk to a youngster. Post that shit and let's see how many brothers is stepping up to help these youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Let's do shit like that. Not sit here. We could talk about this all day, but you have to have action, man. You have to have action. Without action, everybody's minds start wondering. You hear one gunshot, oh, the motherfucker's shooting at us.
Yeah.
That's all you need. You know what I'm saying?
That's the good thing about the Mexican gangs. They have a little bit more structure than the black gangs as far as listening to their big homies versus
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
exactly.
because they control it through the jails. They be like, okay, you come in jail for that,
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Then
some
we gonna deal with you.
consequences.
Well, you
Yeah.
have to understand.
and that's
it's
what the
gonna
black and the
become
Crips
on our
have to do.
side.
Yes, we got to
There's
implement some.
consequences
Yes,
to
indeed.
fucking this up
Yeah.
here. You got high power motherfuckers up there putting their life on the line like Indians. Like I'm
Right.
writing this shit in blood, and this is what we doing. We ain't doing it no more, and it's coming from the higher power. If they can do it, we can do it.
I think
Everybody-
it's risky, even Bobo doing what he's doing, because he's part of a network of other brothers that might not be supporting
Exactly,
what he's doing.
exactly.
That's true.
But he also has his brother, and you know he's at the top of the food chain, so he might be able to get away with a little bit more than the average person. But I think it's courageous what Bobo's doing as well.
Hope it ain't a setup.
All right, so before we got to talk about this Amber Geiger, Dallas PD officer that was convicted of murder. But real quick, we haven't answered anybody's questions.
I want to say something to James right quick.
All right, go ahead.
That I know about. It's this company named Keeps, right? It's a hair care product that I think you need to check out, James. It's
Why
for
you
men.
saying I'm buying it?
Yeah, it's for men that's losing hair.
Well, they need to go. On
They
and
gonna
give
throw
it
the
to
homie some change?
me. Tell them to
Y'all,
send it to me.
y'all putting them on deck.
Yep.
I got a lot of people need their hair back.
Well, James, so
Not me.
yep. You and your nephews is all in here. I guess that's on your side of the family or whatever.
Well, that's why you keep your shit cut. Let's talk about it. What it do?
Your shit grow?
My shit grows
Oh, okay.
every
Yeah.
3 or 4 days
Okay.
because my father hooked me up to this company called Keeps Hair Care Product.
He said he don't know you Christian classics.
Yep. So if y'all losing your hair out there, y'all try Keeps from the hair care product company. It's called Keeps, and man, I'm telling y'all, they're supposed to really help you out. And if so, y'all can go because it's FDA approved and doctor recommended, and it's good for baldness at the base. It keeps it intact. So you just
Does it work
keep
for women too? Because I know some
no,
women
they
losing
just for
their hair.
men. It's just for men.
I
Unless
know a
you
whole
wear your
bunch
hair
of
like
bald
that.
headed for real.
But they say keep it daily. 3 times. Your supplies for 3 months. So they just want you to order for 3 months. And but the good thing about it, for half the cost of the pharmacy, and mention that you're a friend of Gangster Chronicles, your first month will be free of Keeps. So for the first 30 days of supply, you'll get that for 100% free.
So it's called Keeps?
Keeps.
Okay.
Yep. Keeps hair product for men.
KEEPS.
Yep. So and for additional added bonus, you can get another 10% off if you just tell them that, hey, I heard about this on Gangster Chronicles. And
Well-
the website is www.keeps.com.
Well, sign me up because I got a boss right here that needs to be covered. And I'm going to be the first to use it so I can get it to everybody and tell them it works. And then I want all of y'all to sign up for it.
Yep. And they said that'll keep your hair loss at bay. So Keeps.
Sounds
Appreciate
good. I might try it myself. I got a small
you. Uh-oh.
little part that's getting thin at the top of my head. So maybe I'll try it out as well.
All right.
All right, so let's just answer a couple of quick questions and then we'll go on talking about Amber Geiger. There's no way we cannot talk about Amber Geiger. But CJ from Instagram wanted to know if you guys can talk about the lady that was in the entourage at the MGM that night back in '96. I don't know who he's talking about, Reggie.
In the
I know what you're
entourage?
talking
Yeah, there's a woman
The
in the
lady that had the
entourage.
hat on, she kept popping up. All the way till they left out the MGM.
Good looking
And I
for that
kept asking,
change.
who in the hell is this old lady following them? When the fight was started and they on the ground, she goes around. When they show the clip of them going through the casino, she's in it. She was with them, but I didn't know who this broad was.
Well, you know, they always were following because everybody
Yeah.
be trying to get in the club free because it was charging $50 a head back then. $50 to get
I
in the
was
club.
getting paid $70.
Yeah, but you was
75.
out there scamming, nigga.
I had 75 people.
But
For
it was
$75,
$50 a head, so
I
you
was
would hang
bringing
on the
15,
shug
20
and the
people at
homies
time in the back.
for $50,
At $75.
and that's what a lot of the entourage.
And I told them it's $120 to get in. But
All
I
right,
can
so-
get you around the corner.
So that
But-
lady's nobody y'all knew.
No, I didn't
Okay.
know. But there was a female that did come and testify against Shug that was one of the security guards, so they could be talking about her
No,
as
that
well.
wasn't her.
But I know. I'm just saying that there's another female that testified against him at the probation violation that was. She had more guts than a lot of the security officers because she was all in the middle of it.
Appreciate them super chats, y'all.
All right. Well, CJ, she was no one that James or Reggie knows about. I guess there's some straggler in the lobby of the MGM that night. CJ also wants to ask, can you talk about the Wu-Tang Clan member getting his chain snatched at Club 662 back in Vegas? Now,
RZA.
the Wu-Tang got this amazing show out now.
I heard about that.
And I think I'm on like episode 4 or 5. So I guess
okay.
I guess
Salute.
CJ inspired by the Wu-Tang Clan show.
Is it
So
the hip hop?
What happened with
or
RZA?
hip hop something like that?
The name of the show, I think it's just called Wu-Tang, right?
Oh, okay.
Or
I know there's another show that's out there, and they getting into Death Row next season.
Somebody
Ain't
keep.
nobody getting robbed at especially getting in
Yeah. RZA, somebody pulled a RZA chain in the VIP room in the back, and
Yeah, neither you.
and of course, you know, it was a fight that broke out in the VIP room. Me and some of my security took him outside and threw him to the Las Vegas police. But this was the time before the shooting of Tupac. The fight that happened probably in March of 1996.
so James wasn't working at the club
James
that
was
day?
there. He
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
remember.
Oh.
He,
Yeah, they opened the
he lived for
motherfucking
that.
doors
He
out
lived for
there.
that.
Shit, I wasn't
He wasn't working. He was just in the way. That's what he was.
So the fight wasn't like a
He
huge
wasn't
melee or
charged. It
anything
was
like
a
that.
probation violation.
I didn't know that.
It was a melee. James was just probably on some other venture trying to get some money out of some high rollers or something.
Did RZA actually get his chain removed
He
off
got
his
his chain
neck?
taken, and somehow we got it
Yeah,
back.
neither
a
what
day-
happened.
A day or
We
two
was looking
later.
for you
But
playing.
actually, I turned him over to the police, and we just took him to the door, and the police took him and dealt with him. But he didn't go to jail or anything. But he did come back complaining about his chain, and Pac and Suge made it.
So
turn
Compton
back
Cat
out.
took it from RZA then.
I didn't say that.
Well, you saying you know him.
I didn't say I
Oh,
knew
okay.
the person.
My
I just
bad.
said that Pac and Suge, you know, he came back complaining to Pac, and Pac took it to Suge, and they got it back to him.
All right. Well, there you go, CJ on Instagram. The show that they have out is just called Wu-Tang: An American Saga. So go check that out. All right.
Amber Geiger. She was just found guilty today of murder, not manslaughter,
She was
not
found
second
guilty
degree.
actually yesterday.
Well, yeah, she was found guilty yesterday. She was sentenced today to 10 years. And what I found interesting about this case is that Texas does not have any. You don't need premeditation for murder, which I thought is kind of weird.
That's what always had a
crazy?
problem with. It was no premeditation.
There's no premeditation in this homicide.
None.
And Texas doesn't require premeditation for murder.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why she was found guilty of murder.
No, the reason why she was found guilty was because she has no. The prosecutor did a great job of showing that she had no compassion. This was a chick that was texting her boyfriend who was married while the other cops in there trying to save this man's life.
I thought
she
she
just shot somebody.
But she was texting on her while she was walking to the door before she shot the guy.
No. Well, she was texting the whole time. That's why.
And they
that's
said
why
racy,
she was fucked up in the head.
Racy text at that.
She was fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
You know.
She should have never been a cop. How'd she become a cop in the first
So what
place?
they saying, she was on drugs, or
No,
she was just
nothing in her
something
system.
fucking wrong with her
Nothing
mind?
in her system. She was that dude must have laid some pipe to her.
And that's what I said. This is the problem.
No, not the victim. Let me just correct
No,
it.
that's
Not
what I
the
was
victim.
thinking. They know each other
No,
from somewhere.
no.
She got
No
in
evidence
that
of
man's
that.
house.
I thought they was fucking.
No.
Those are rumors that came out after it
that's
happened.
Oh,
how they
She
tried to-
lived underneath them.
She
Yeah.
went to the
Right.
wrong floor because she was tripping. Her head was all fucked up because she was arguing with this cop that she was having
That's
an
her
affair with.
story. Wow.
She was
Hook,
having
line,
an
and
affair
sinker.
with
How
a
did
cop
she
that
get
she
in his
worked with.
house?
Door was unlocked.
She said the door was unlocked. She said that.
It was unlocked.
I believe it was unlocked.
It was unlocked.
I believe that the story
all
is
of
true.
this happened.
She accidentally walked
It's
into his
no
apartment.
conspiracy, nothing. She just
Yeah.
was. The reason why she got convicted because this woman had no compassion for what she did. She was just like,
Well, it would have been something going on. How do you walk in somebody else's house? As soon as you walk in the house, you can identify your shit to where you stand.
That's what.
that's why she got
prosecution
convicted.
But when you white,
She had a red-
they will stretch the extremities of their imagination and imagine a white person. Oh, maybe so.
Plus, there was a red
That'll never
doormat.
fly for
Red
us.
doormat.
There was a red doormat
And
in
a big
front
cable.
and let's just shout out the victim here,
Yeah.
Botham John,
Rest in peace, Botham John.
and everyone called him Bo.
Yeah.
Rest
But
in
he had
peace,
a
Bo.
he had a red, a
Red
doormat,
was his favorite color. They all
different
wore
from
yeah.
Amber Geiger's. So immediately you would think, oh, this
should
ain't
know
my
this
door.
ain't
my door.
But she's on the phone, texting, doing
She's
all kinds of
stressing.
stuff.
She's going
Yeah.
crazy. She parked on the wrong floor. She was supposed to park on the fourth floor. She
Whoa,
parked on the third
she was
floor.
smarter than I thought. She said
Man,
that
this
she y'all
ain't
biting
no
that she
just
did all that just
protection
she's
and
a
not
law
like an
enforcement.
accident, man.
She
She didn't know
backstepped
this
that
man.
crime.
Okay, wait a- one at a time,
She
please.
could have just shot somebody on the motherfucking street.
Maybe
And she
that-
just want to kill a
That
black
could
man.
have that could have been her initiation to a white supremacist underground gang.
Oh Jesus!
All right, James, what were you gonna say?
I just don't understand
She does have to
how
run the
she
streets
did
without
that shit. How do she just walk in somebody's shit?
I can understand because I
Me
do it
too.
sometimes. I park on the floor in the Beverly Center and then come out like, damn, what floor am I
No.
supposed to be on? You know?
When
Y'all
you
don't
pull up
understand
on your
her-
house,
her
you gonna walk
mindset.
in somebody else's house thinking it's yours?
No.
Okay, if you ever got a room and you thought, damn, this my room right here.
But let me give you the scenario. She's on the wrong floor and doesn't know it. We've all done that.
All done that.
She puts the key in the door and the door opens. It's not locked. Bo, unfortunately, did not lock his door.
If she can remember that shit, she remember what flow she on, man. If she
There
can
was a-
remember, she put,
yes.
how she put her key. The keys are different. Turn your head if you want to, man. But
I'm not gonna argue with you
that
about no
chick knew what the
conspiracy
fuck
shit.
she was doing. You
She
just
was
don't walk
stupid.
to nobody.
Nah.
So
Right.
basically, you're saying she went in there to kill this dude on
Man,
purpose.
She couldn't
I-
kill. They didn't
Why
have
not?
no beef. I can see they
Yeah.
had beef.
With or without the beef, his life was
We don't know if
lost.
she had a
I
beef
think
with
she
him or
should have
not.
did as much time as we can generally expect him to live.
So people can't make
Trade
accidents. Huh?
Man, are you,
Accident
People can't make
because she a fucking police.
When-
no,
no,
it's
look.
because of that. 'Cause
when-
she
when-
fucked up.
when-
She was
when-
stupid.
okay, so she need to
That's
take
so
her
supposed to
stupid
do-
ass to jail forever. He's dead.
Well, she should have pleaded insanity.
Man,
Like
he's
she, like,
dead.
flipped
No,
out,
a
lost her
police
mind.
officer
People
can
have
never
been
plead
traffic
insanity.
accidents and
Well,
stuff like
That's
that.
not a
She
traffic
should've been around.
accident. That's not a
We
traffic
talking about
accident.
dead. Now we gonna say how she died.
Yeah,
walking
at
around
the,
the
at,
house.
yes,
How she
as
died
someone else.
versus dying.
Yes,
Alex,
someone being
sitting down.
One at a
extremely.
time. Go ahead, Spider.
She just was extreme.
Fuck that
His
shit.
life.
Stupid.
Black Lives Matter.
Wait. Go ahead. I want to hear what Spider got to say.
I deal with ex-cops, but fuck the police, the actual current ones that is killing black people.
I'm not trying to justify what she did. I'm just saying she was
I'm talking about
stupid.
I haven't said anything about her except that her sentence was not strenuous enough.
Well, we didn't get to the sentence part yet.
Oh.
We're just talking about what she did. Here's an interesting thing. When she applied for Dallas PD the first time, she was denied. She had to reapply to become a cop.
Was it because of
she
psychological?
No, she lied about marijuana use on her initial resume or whatever you call it, the application. So I never knew that you could reapply after deny and then get the job
after a year.
Yeah,
after a year, and they show
Was
you
she
about
pissed
being
dirty?
honest.
I think she
smoked at one time.
Yeah.
And then, how was the lie like confirmed? Like, how did it come out as a
She
lie?
admitted that she used marijuana in college and recreationally. I didn't know if it was a big deal, but she didn't get hired by Dallas
Somehow
PD
by
the first
weed,
time.
yeah.
So they screened her properly, probably. Yeah. But then eventually a year later, they hired her.
75% of the cops would be cops if
One thing
marijuana
I
use in
know-
high school would disqualify you.
My
They would have a
cousin
hard
Tony,
time.
my cousin Tony took that police test. And one of his problems was identifying, this part of the test where you have to identify certain things in the room or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Being in a place and identifying more than one thing, and then you got to write the report on it. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to think.
He said it was hard for him to do that test because he had to identify. They show him some shit, and then you got to remember what you see here.
Yeah. I don't know
I'm
if
quite
he,
sure-
what point of the test was that, if that was in the academy or if
Yeah,
that
in the
was-
academy.
Okay, so he fell out in the academy. Y'all got to remember. Anyway, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Reggie.
we don't got. This woman was a cop. This lady walked in a black man house in a man period. We ain't gonna even do the racist shit. Walked in there, and a man sitting down eating that, watching his TV, and she gunned him down.
Eating a bowl of ice cream.
Come on, man.
Why do you think the prosecutor harped on that?
Because it sounds so innocent.
Exactly.
And they just
that prosecutor did a great job humanizing
Plus,
him.
Bo was the perfect victim.
Oh, he's a
this
preacher.
dude was like Job from the Bible.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You know?
without that,
His life is only worth 10 years.
Wait a minute. Without all of that, you saying if
wasn't about that.
if you had a different prosecutor, she probably would have won.
No,
I
I
didn't
think
say
if the
that.
victim
I
had
just
it-
said
No,
she
I'm
did a
asking,
great
I'm
job.
asking.
I'm saying if the victim was someone that you could drag through the mud, you might have had a different result.
They would have tried that. Yeah.
You would have had a different result. Believe me. Let's say
That's the
let's say
golden-
you're
that's
the
the
let's say
golden
it's you, James. Let's say you're the one that was the victim. Oh, that's Mob James and he's
Walk in my house.
Pyru and
Walk
Death
in my
Row.
house. Walk in my
You know?
house. Walk
They
in
might
my
have had a
house.
different result.
I
Or
got
even
a
you,
gun
Spider.
at the toilet.
If you was Botham John,
She probably would have got off.
yeah.
But this is the thing.
If she would have
do
been,
that, Rich? If the
If she
victim was
would've-
different,
that part. But my part is, if she was a little bit more compassionate and was more sympathetic and all of that, she
Should've
would have
got
got
off.
off.
but here's why she
But
can
it-
never
it
be
is
more.
full of shit.
Wait. Here's why she couldn't be, because they pulled up
Because
her
it wasn't in her.
old tweets
It wasn't in
and
her.
her old Pinterest, and she had a few racist comments on it.
wasn't in her.
Wow. So look,
Yeah.
if you
Because
don't,
it's not in them.
look, bro, if you don't get the George Zimmerman connection, all this rationalization y'all doing made it okay for him to kill that black boy. So now you going through all these scenarios to make it okay for this man to be dead when you know damn well.
Nobody said that. But go ahead.
So why would you respond? Nobody else said nothing. Except you got defensive right now.
I'm
I
not
just said I
defensive.
didn't say you said it. How you saying nobody said it?
Because of what you're saying.
What is it that I said?
You said what you said.
I'm saying this, you keep. I'm saying you rationalizing her actions to make it seem like 10 years was enough time.
Real talk. And-
That
and-
ain't, what I
You have
said,
suggested that.
I suggested that if she would have been more compassionate and not have those things in her heart that apparently she does have, she wouldn't even got a date.
But no,
She wouldn't even
you're
got
addressing what
filed
I'm
on.
saying. Were you off base? Because
I'm
what
not off base. I'm thinking
what,
of
no,
what
you
we were
spoke
talking
about what
about.
I was saying. You just said no one said what I was saying. I didn't say nothing about that.
Okay, go ahead.
What I was saying, she deserved a lot more time.
And I
said her intentions. I don't believe they're as innocent as she's representing them. I don't believe it was
said
this.
based on the facts that was placed, she doesn't.
But
You-
even
you-
as
it's
an
only based on her
accident-
statement.
But even as an accident, I agree with Spider.
It's just
she
her
should have got
testimony.
more.
Of course, it's his life.
If it was an accident? If
Yeah.
it was an accident.
Because it happened inside his home.
If it was an accident.
Let me ask you guys.
Let me just say that. If it was an accident,
Well,
y'all
I
believe...
agree it was an accident.
Okay.
But-
so you
No,
believe she
that
should
I
have
was
believe
not-
she should have got at least 20.
Y'all agree that was an accident?
I do
Walking
believe
to
it.
somebody
I
else.
do too.
Yeah.
If it was a white man on the couch and you walked in and shot a motherfucker, that shit ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, but if I
You
lived
thought this
underneath,
was-
but if I lived directly underneath,
It wouldn't fly.
It would not fly.
It wouldn't fly. Come on, man. Y'all got to keep it.
Just like that case you did.
Wait, so Spider, you don't believe it was an accident?
Hell
either?
no. And just like this, just like this would.
KKK initiation.
No, I didn't say. I see. You the one paraphrasing.
that.
I said, how do you know it's not?
So
thing.
It's not the
if
same
Botham
thing.
John was some dude involved in all kind of shady things where the
She
government
would've
wanted
got
him
a
dead,
medal, yeah.
then I would say maybe this is a conspiracy.
It'd have been
but,
fucked up because
but
her
Botham
lawyer
John
would
lived
put him up.
an upright
Perfect
life,
victim.
Christian all the way,
Yep.
singer in the choir,
Yep.
college graduate. There's no reason to knock off Botham John.
Unless you're ticked off, texting, upset, and it doesn't matter. You're being reckless. You're not being as cautious as you normally would
It
be.
was all of that.
And then he's dead. So because of that, regardless of what your intentions was, you were too irresponsible to cause this man's life to leave, to die. So for him to lose his life, therefore you deserve to.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
She killed him out of frustration of other things going on in her life.
Right. And she's been overly trained to handle situations of distress and duress. So she should have been more on point to handle a situation she didn't quite
Then why
expect.
didn't the Dallas PD kind of help her out with the situation? They
They
could have covered the whole thing up and made him the victim. Botham John, not the victim, but
suspect.
as the suspect.
If
Yeah,
they
exactly.
make him the suspect, they got to put him in her place and change the gun.
Just
like
white folks
Wait a
talk-
minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Just like the lady said, she was on the stand and she said, "I wish it was him with the gun and he could have killed me." Bitch, I mean, lady, shut up.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a joke.
They turned
That's a
Trayvon Martin
joke.
into the victim, bro.
You know what
Come
I'm
on,
saying?
man.
And
Somebody
then they
followed
made
this
it-
dude with a
they
gun.
making it seem like 10 years? You think you would have got 10 years for murder
Suspect.
in Texas?
No, I would have never got 10 years for that.
Reggie, do you
Her
think you...
whiteness definitely privileged her, and
Okay.
being a police officer
So,
too.
Man, we can't
You had a
sit
black
here.
Indeed.
DA and you had a black
That was a
judge.
black town.
Yeah,
that
but
was
like-
a black thing.
That
don't
was a
care.
black
You
DA
don't get
and a
no
black
credit.
judge.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by their blackness no more.
Don't matter. That shit don't matter if it was a black nothing.
No.
Half of the motherfucking blacks
And it was a black police.
Somebody keep saying this.
is fucking sellouts, and they prove
Thank
themselves
you.
to the white
The black
motherfucking man
police chief.
that they doing it. It don't matter if he was black or white.
Ice Cube
She
Ben
was.
told you, don't let it be a
Shit.
black and a white one.
We don't work for us. We work for them.
Thank you.
And that shit happened. No, Reggie, you can be mad at that,
I'm
man.
not mad.
Well, here's
That
one of
woman-
He just playing the
opinion.
devil's advocate.
Okay,
That's
and,
all.
and you're right.
Let me-
That lady walked in.
Let me read one
in
of her
that motherfucking
posts.
house
One of her
full of
posts.
shit.
This is let you know how aggressive of a lady she was. She wrote, "I wear all black. Remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral." She posted that on
Oh
Pinterest.
yeah.
That's why she got charged. All this, I said she was.
No, she needed more than a 10-piece.
That's why she got charged. If she didn't do all of that, and she was more sensitive and over there giving him CPR and all of that, when she walked in and more apologetic, they would have never charged her.
Okay, Reggie, you just made my case. If she didn't have any issues, if you'd have never found none of her shit on Instagram
Wow,
or her
that's all.
text messages, and this